Okay, guys, a big welcome to Andrew from New Age Sports Insights. He's here delivering, I guess, the first of our hottest takes today. So a big thank you for joining us, Andrew. We are, certainly lucky to have you on today.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Excited to join you. I know we're kind of time traveling here. I'm in LA and I'm still in Friday, and you guys are on Saturday, so this is cool.
Yeah, absolutely. No, well, we've certainly been looking forward to this, and we've wanted to do a segment where we kind of get some of our viewers, hottest takes. And you're the man in the hot seat first up, Andrew. So for the upcoming season, what is your hot take?
All right. So I saw you guys posting about this, the first thing that came to my mind was, I've been doing my research a little bit, trying to prep for an article I'm going to put up about the offseason moves. And, I see a lot of love for the Blazers offseason. People are excited about some of the moves they made. And I love Portland. I love Dame. I want to see them succeed just because I'm selfishly wanting to watch Dame more in the playoffs. But honestly, I mean, their moves are fine, but I don't see them as like this amazing offseason that's going to take them to the next level. They traded for Robert Covington, who I like, but every time he moves, I mean, we talk about him like he's going to make this big difference. And I mean, he's a 3-and-D guy. He's a mid-30s three-point shooter who's fine. He's a good team defender, not amazing one-on-one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's going to be a solid, reliable player for them. But I feel like most of their success is, once again, going to depend on Dame, CJ, Nurkic being healthy. And so while I hope they do great this year, I don't think that, Robert Covington is going to make the difference. And other than that, they picked up some fun names. I mean, Enes Kanter.
Feel good story having him back.
Right. Yeah. And same with Melo. I mean, we're happy to see Melo keep going. And, other than that, Harry Giles, Derek Jones Jr., these are guys that, you like the names and you've seen them have good little moments. But those three last guys, those weren't even starters last year for their teams.
No, not at all.
And Derek Jones Jr., he was in the playoffs with the Heat. He didn't even sniff the floor, really. I don't even know if he played in the finals.
I can't believe him.
I don't think he got a minute. And so, while those guys are fine, I don't think Portland made this amazing leap. I think they made fine moves. I hope they succeed this season, but if they do, again, it'll be because Dame, CJ, Nurkic can hopefully stay healthy. Yep. And that'll be why they're successful if they are.
Yeah, I agree. Firstly, it's funny to think this team was Western Conference Finals only, not too long ago. Yet I agree the moves they made don't really, tilt the scales that much. It is going to come from that kind of Dame being almost an MVP level player again, and I guess Melo being Melo, doing what he did last season. That was probably the feel good story of the year. In terms of, and I think a big part of it, as you touched on, is ensuring that those players like Collins and Nurkic do remain healthy. I think Covington, is probably their biggest signing of the off season. It isn't, something that jumps off at the page at you, but I think he will be a nice complementary player. But as you said, those moves, Giles, Derek Jones Jr., they don't really, they're not going to impact you in the back half of the season when it becomes time to win in a 7-game series. So, yeah, I don't know. How do you feel about it, bro? I think he's on the money.
I think he's on the money as well. And I really liked when you mentioned about, the Blazers having to rely on Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum and Nurkic to actually, have any form of success. The players that they did recruit, Covington's a good role player. As you said, he's a 3-and-D type player, but he's not the type of player who's going to elevate you to championship, caliber. So I think that, as long as Dame Lillard and CJ McCollum and Nurkic are all performing at their best, they will. I'm expecting them to make the playoffs this year. In saying that, if one of those guys goes down, they're in all sorts of trouble. And we've seen that when Nurkic went down, for a long time throughout the season, they were sitting bottom. I think it was bottom 4 in the West.
They barely stuck into the playoffs.
100%. Incredible that they did, really.
Yeah, until those blokes came back and they just sneaked in. But I think you pretty much nailed it on the head. They haven't made, miraculous moves over the off season. And I think they needed to recruit these types of players who can step up when, Nurkic, Lillard, McCollum go down with injury or aren't performing at their best. But instead they've sort of recruited these mediocre players. You were mentioning Derek Jones Jr. before. I think the last time he's done anything notable was the dunk contest a few years back, and that's
well, right. And I mean, he's fun. I mean, I love watching him, but he's not going to make him to the next level. And so, they're good. And I think, in fairness to them too, Portland's kind of limited because it's not a big destination for players.
That's it.
And they're also a little bit cap tied with Dame and CJ. So, in fairness to them, I don't know how much more they could have done. And fairness to them, they went out and did something to try and show Dame that they care and they want to compete. So I don't fault them, but I guess my take is more about the analysts kind of going, oh my gosh, getting kind of lost in the weeds with the moves,
Do you think if the Blazers didn't make these moves to try and assist Dame and I guess CJ and Nurkic, do you reckon Dame's the type of player who might consider taking off in the next few years, or do you think loyalty sort of just runs through his veins and he's likely to be like a one franchise type player?
Yeah, I mean, who knows today? In today's NBA, who knows? I think Dame has said all the right things about being a super loyal guy, and he does seem to be that. He could have bolted. He's had opportunities, but he's a lot probably like Giannis in my mind, where I think he'd like to be able to win and stay. But, if he's not able to do both, I wouldn't fault him for choosing to leave and win. So, I wouldn't be surprised either way, I guess, is the answer. I think that he would prefer to stay, but, if his hand's forced and they're nothing but the same for the next couple of years and he's losing his prime, I wouldn't be surprised to be left.
Well, I've got a couple of quick questions for you, Andrew. The first one being, do you think this CJ Dame partnership has run its course? Do you think they need to, CJ's the name that would be, kind of on the chopping block, but do you think it's kind of grown a little bit stale now, or do you think they've still got the potential to reach, a finals?
No, I actually think that they're still a great pairing. I mean, they give defenses lots of trouble. They score tons of points. I think Dame's, a really good defender actually, but there's, I think there's still plenty of things that they do that give people problems. So I wouldn't say that, it's just that they need to swap CJ for someone. I think, if they can get more from the Nurkic or from even someone fourth, if Robert Covington comes out and blows our minds and he's someone that he hasn't been the last couple of years, that's what really is going to put him over the top, as well as their health. But no, I think he and CJ can still give people big problems.
Okay, and in that case, if it all remains as is this year, what do you think not their ceiling, but where do you expect them to finish in the conference standings? What do you see their future being?
If I had to, wave my magic wand and say what it was going to be, I'd guess mid probably 5-6 range. The reason I say that is they've had injury issues the last couple of years. I wouldn't be surprised if one of them misses a little bit of time. I have no idea what to expect with the COVID regulations this year, whether that's going to shake things up a little bit. So there's a lot of things that could complicate things, but Dame is so good. He's a guaranteed playoff berth. Even in a year last year where they had terrible injury luck, they still made it. And they didn't compete with the Lakers, but that wasn't really a fair matchup to begin with. No. So, I think that there are a couple of teams in the West that are going to drop off a little bit this year. The Mavs look good and they've got Luka, but, Kristaps is hurt. There's a couple other teams out West that are going to drop off a little bit. The Golden State Warriors lost Clay, So I think there's plenty of room for them to jump up there and get in the middle of the playoff race out West.
It's really going to be fascinating this year, the West, with teams like that you've said who can drop off, but you've also got the Suns rising, a full season with the Pelicans. It's really, I don't know. There's pretty much every team in the West is, in with a sniff of the eight, bar probably OKC and the Spurs. So, I can't wait to see that battle, that's for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm going to throw the Sacramento Kings out too. I'm not going to give them any love. I think they're down in the bottom dwellers. But I totally agree though. Otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, excellent.
I love that. Okay. When I saw it come through, I was like, I can't wait to discuss this one, because I 100% agree with what you've said, Andrew. Like these off-season moves for the Portland Trail Blazers, they're not going to elevate them to any higher standards. And I kind of wish they made some more, inspired moves. That's the word I'm looking for, but unfortunately not. But I love the hot take.
We'll ride the coattails of Dame all the way, I reckon.
Yeah, hopefully, man. Hopefully, I wish them the best, and it's been fun, gentlemen. It's going to be crazy out west. The East is wild this year too, super unpredictable. So, I think we've had a fun off season. We've got a good season coming up. It's going to be wild, super unpredictable.
Incredible that it's only a couple of weeks away.
Yeah, coming up super fast, but we're kind of spoiled, right? As basketball fans, it's great because we barely even had to take a break, right?
Yeah. Christmas comes early, a few days anyway.
Yeah, exactly, huh?
Well, excellent. Thank you so much for joining us today, Andrew. We've absolutely loved it, and being first cap off the rank is, you've set the bar pretty high. So for all of our listeners there, guys, you can find Andrew at New Age Sports Insights on Instagram. Guys, honestly, must check out, bringing the hottest in analytics and news. So
good content.
Be sure to go check it out.
Thanks, gentlemen. I really appreciate it. Love the pod. Nothing but love. Good luck to you.
We'll talk to you soon, mate. You take care.
Thanks, mate.
Likewise. You guys. See ya.
Cheers.
See you, brother. Okay, and we're joined for our second hot take of the episode by Mr. Harry Daniels. Harry, thank you for joining us on the podcast, mate.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. We've been looking forward to doing this with our listeners, so we're stoked that you got in touch and got involved. So, without further
Thank you very much. I appreciate reaching out.
No, absolutely. Hit us up with your hot take for the season, my man.
So my first take was I don't believe any of the LA teams will make it out the West. I know right now it seems really problematic, but I feel similar to the 18-19 Celtics, the Lakers will just implode. I feel they just have too many hands to feed at this point. And with LeBron and AD, they've got good chemistry right now, but if they bring in Schroeder, that may knock off something. And with Denver and the Rockets looking stronger than ever, it's full possibility that they make it out the West. I feel the West is still definitely a battleground this season, contrary to what many believe with the Lakers.
And likewise, you agree the Clippers are no chance either?
I think the Clippers have a chance, but I feel the Rockets have a better chance than the Clippers. I give Clippers third place in the West.
Yep.
I feel Boogie and Wall, since they've got some really good chemistry together, they'll just get it off and we'll go from there.
Yeah, right. This one, when we saw this was probably our most, to Row and I, when we looked at the hot takes we got, this was probably the one that raised our eyebrows the most.
But it was the hottest.
I mean, there's no bias, I swear. Maybe a slight bias coming from a Boston fan, but you never know.
No, that's fine.
Maybe a bias.
No, 100%. We're all entitled to our opinions. But I was thinking, Nick, since you're the Lakers fan over here, I might start you off and see what you have to say about it.
Yeah. So just before you started, your kind of, I guess, your pitch, I was like, oh, okay, this is for all money, all the bookies and ourselves and many pundits, Lakers are certainly well and truly favourites to go back to back.
They definitely are the favourites. I won't deny that.
Yeah.
But the point you just made about having too many mouths to feed now, I think, is a really good one because, we had last year a lot of players, Rondo, all the other names we had, the endless list, they kind of just were able to fit into their roles really well. And
yeah,
he's already
definitely
expressed his desire not to come off the bench. So, already there's not disharmony, but there's a little bit of friction within the camp, you could say.
Yeah, we could see that happening.
And as you said, now we've got Wes Matthews. We've got the signings we've made. The squad is just almost too good that you can't. LeBron and AD are certainly going to be the focuses, but you also need to incorporate all these other top tier players.
Definitely.
So I still think if I was a betting man and as a Lakers fan, I still think they're going to make the finals and win it. But I certainly like that you've thrown a curveball in, Harry. I think it's.
I still feel the Lakers will probably make it out the West, but I reckon other teams still have a chance. A lot of people will still view it as this one-sided thing, where the Lakers will definitely make it out. But I believe many others, including myself, just believe that the Lakers aren't guaranteed to make it out there. If I was a bookie, I'd still put my money on the Lakers, but definitely there is some kind of possible implosion that could happen in the chemistry there.
I guess what you're saying is that it's not a foregone conclusion that the Lakers are going to make it to the finals and win the championship, like many people
definitely
already said at the moment. A a lot of bookies and a lot of NBA experts have said that, you know, the Lakers, if they don't win it this year, then, you know, something's very wrong.
Something could happen, yeah.
Yeah. But,
yeah, because we.
sorry.
Oh, I'll go ahead then. Earlier, you know, in the second round, second. No, it's conference finals. The Nuggets were 180 shot away from being up 2-1 in that series. That's the one thing to remember there.
Good point.
And even though the Lakers went on to win those next couple games, it still would have definitely set the tone for the Nuggets just going forward. Because I feel they're one of the teams to watch this year.
Isn't it funny how one shot, one moment, a couple of seconds here and there can change a series so drastically? Because you're absolutely right. Who knows what would have happened had the Lakers have found themselves 2-1 down? The Nuggets high on.
Yeah, I feel they still would have won that series most likely, but definitely the tone would have been a lot different. And I feel it could have gone to 6 or 7. I believe it did go to 6 though.
Just changing tunes a little bit. The other point you believe, and that the Celtics will be the Western.
We'll make the East. Yeah, I feel since Boston. Well, no bias. I'm swearing. You know, Boston have made the Eastern Conference. We rate it. We rate those. Won't fit the headphones, but we'll take those. With, you know, Boston have made the Eastern Conference Finals and lost 3 out of the last 4 years. And just gradually looking over some of the players and how they're going, we're probably going to expect like Jaylen Brown to take a big step, along with Marcus Smart, and you could possibly get Grant Williams in the starting lineup there if they maybe start Thompson and bench Tice.
Yeah.
But the Nets are a big if this season because it all depends on how Kevin Durant comes back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we haven't seen him play at all since he come back. We have frankly no clue on what he's going to look like. I mean, he did do his injury on his non-dominant foot, which was an interesting case. Because most are on their dominant foot, and I believe Dominique Wilkins came back pretty dominant when he did Achilles on his non-dominant foot.
Yeah.
But it's just, you know, the two are both known, well, Kyrie specifically, known to have some kind of chemistry issues. I feel the two will work well together. Yeah, but it just all depends on how the two blend together. And
they've got such a talented roster.
We saw with the coaching unit, like I feel.
Yeah.
It's such a talented roster, yeah, but there's just so many big ifs this season.
Absolutely.
There is. And I think because I'm a Celtics fan, obviously, as well. And I think personally that in comparison to this past season, it's a better position, particularly in terms of depth. Obviously, Luke Gordon Hayward, who only played a few games anyway. So from my perspective,
it was the fourth option anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And the fact of the matter is, we've now got that legit backup centre. I'm personally at the moment not sure if Tice will start or if he'll come off the bench.
I don't think really anyone is, to be fair.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm guessing it's probably going to be split minutes between those two, but also having like an established player like Jeff T coming off in that point guard position. I think this season with Kemba Walker out for the first few weeks at the least, I think at the moment Jeff T's probably gonna get a lot more minutes. Considering we made it to the Eastern Conference Finals this year, and we've made these moves to improve the depth of our roster, I wouldn't be surprised if we, you know, got over that hump and made it to the finals. But obviously, there's a fair bit of bias talking at the moment. But
it's really just a competition to see who gets wrecked by the West. But
it is, isn't it? 100%.
But I mean, the drafting of Aaron Nesmith hits me a bit interestingly because like we kind of needed 3-point shooting, and this guy shot incredibly at Vanderbilt. If I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah.
And just like looking at that drill, I think 92 out of 100 he made on this 1 3-point drill, which is insane.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting just to see how, because it's definitely still a battleground this year. Because I feel good 6-7 teams could win the finals this year. A lot of sleepers in there. The Bucks would be also an interesting case, but we'll have to see how that goes because it's still a die for Giannis right now.
Absolutely.
You're on the money.
Oh, Harry, we're ripping through the hot takes, so we really appreciate you coming on. And you know, as we said, this was certainly.
Thanks, guys.
You know, I'm looking forward to our listeners hearing this and seeing how they take it. But you know, we certainly appreciate you coming on.
It'll be interesting.
Bringing the heat today.
Appreciate you guys having me.
No, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, we'll let you go there. And thank you.
Thank you very much.
We'll talk to you soon, brother.
All right. See you guys. Have a good one.
Mate. Have a good one.
Thank you. Okay, and we are back with our third hottest take. Now, this one you could say is a guest appearance from none other than Caleb. Caleb Fraser, also known as Apex Fraser, who was, for many of our listeners last week, you would have heard Mr. Entertainment Weekly, you could say.
Oh.
So, we're stoked to have you on board, my man, and, we're loving what you're doing at the minute. For anyone who hasn't heard Caleb's track Wolves, it's an absolutely must-listen to track, and I know we've had it on repeat in the car. So, we're stoked to have you with us today, Caleb.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm very excited to be here with you guys. Love the podcast. Thank you so much for all the support with Wolves and all the music recently. It means a ton. I'm super excited to talk basketball.
Absolutely. Well, let it rip, man. The floor is yours. Your hottest take was one that we it certainly piqued our interest. So
sure.
let's have it.
Right. Yeah. So I was just thinking about the biggest storylines in the NBA last year, heading into this year. There's one name that you can't avoid, and that's Giannis. He's everywhere. Is he going to stay in Milwaukee? What's going to happen? Is he going to sign his extension? And to me, that comes down to how well will the Bucks start off the season. I think if there's anything short of greatness, you have to expect Coach Bud to be fired out of the gate. Look at what Milwaukee did this offseason. They tried to make a big move. They got Drew Holiday, traded away basically their entire future for him. If they get off to any worse of a start than last year, it's not going to go well for them. And I think Bud has to be the odd man out of the gate, because you're not going to find a good suitor for Chris Middleton with his contract. And you certainly won't get equal value back. I think Coach Bud is the clear choice for Milwaukee if they want to make an upgrade. What will they get for him? I don't know.
Sure.
That's not my job. But they need something, they need something to take them to that next level. And I just don't think Coach Bud, especially in the playoffs, his rotations, is going to be that guy for them.
I couldn't agree more. And I know this is one that, I wanted to tear my hair out the way he actually coached this squad.
Yeah.
I was surprised he hasn't already got the chop. Playing your star players, high 20s, low 30s in the playoff series, it's not the time to be doing it. You can't be running a 10-man rotation at this point. And, it's surprised that Giannis, he must have a pretty strong relationship with Bud, because if I was a star player, I would have voiced my opinions and had him on the way out already. With the whole Bogdanovic side of things was, they've got on their face now. And as you said, they're not going to get equal return with Middleton. I think, as you said, Bud is the kind of top of the chopping block. You agree, Rode?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So from my perspective, I couldn't agree more. I think what we call this after the Dwayne Casey firing a few years back when they won the East and he won Coach of the Year and still got fired. So Dwayne Casey treatment. So I think you're on the money. I think if the Bucks don't get off to a good start, they're just going to have to cut their losses and cut him off as well. And we saw what happened with Toronto after that. And I'm not saying it's due to the fact that they got rid of Dwayne Casey, that they won the championship necessarily, but
Nick Nurse did good things.
He did really good things. Yeah.
Yes.
We've seen that you can cut ties with a phenomenal coach like that, even though he plays his players on strange minutes, particularly star players like Giannis, once in a lifetime. It doesn't make sense to me. But I can certainly see that happening. The Bucks are just going to have to get off to a ripping start, or else his seat is getting very hot, and I think he could be on the way.
Yeah. Sorry. No, that's okay. I was going to say, I guess, Caleb, the question I have is, you've spoken about them starting well. How do you think they're going to finish? With the acquisition of Drew Holiday, where do you see them ending up this season?
But that's a hard question.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Because last year's right. So it's hard to say what kind of start they need to get off of, and how are they going to sustain? They have to finish with the court advantage, which should be fairly easy with the roster they have if they want to make any sort of noise in the playoffs. But last year, second round, Miami took them out in 5 games.
Yeah.
Easy. So I don't know. I think that they have to make the finals if they want to keep Giannis.
Absolutely.
But Coach Bud needs to get off to, I would say, at least 20-4, something like that, to start off if they want to keep Bud. Now, that's interesting that you said Giannis must have a good relationship with him, because remember, he didn't want Jason Kidd gone.
No, that's
but that ended up working out fairly well for Coach Bud and for these Bucks that we have now. Drew Holiday, he's a great player. He's better than Eric Bledsoe. I don't think anyone in media or in the league would disagree with that. I like Bledsoe, but we saw that he couldn't make a shot in the bubble or in the playoffs, and that's a reoccurring thing for him, unfortunately. Drew Holiday is not a great outside shooter, but he can knock him down when he needs to, and he's a lockdown defender. I think he would definitely help them, maybe add a few wins to the regular season. But where he's going to come in handy is the playoffs. We saw what he did with Lillard, 2 years ago? And he locked him down. Yeah, and he looked like the MVP of the league for that series. He was amazing. And I think Giannis and AD have a lot of similar attributes to their game. I think Drew Holiday will mesh really well with Giannis. So I'm really excited to see how that works for him, but I don't think it's going to work out well for Coach Bud regardless.
Here's a question for you, and that's in relation to Giannis. If the Bucks do, I guess, short again this season, so I guess falling short from their perspective, I'm not sure about you two, but I guess from my perspective, I think falling short would be not making it to at least the Eastern Conference Finals. If they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, it's sort of a par finish for them. But my question to you, mate, is that if they didn't make it there, what happens with Giannis next season? What are you predicting might happen with Giannis if they fall short yet again?
Well, did you see the quote that he just put out? Was it last night or today? Where he was asked about teammates to some extent, and he said, if I was to have AD or LeBron come to Milwaukee, I don't mind being the second fiddle. I think that's a pretty clear indication that he's saying, get someone better than who I have on this team or I'm gone. So, I mean, to answer your question, if they don't make it to the conference finals, I'd say they probably need to make it to the finals for Giannis to really think that he could win there. If they don't do that, then I'd say he's out of Milwaukee.
Definitely, given how the last couple of seasons have gone, I think that is got to be the benchmark, the finals. It's funny to think, though, that a back-to-back MVP winner is, happy to take a back seat almost as a number 2. It's, not many players in history, I don't think, have been at his caliber and have said that. So it'll be certainly interesting to see how that all plays out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy because he's one of the greatest players over the last few years for sure. Like you said, back-to-back MVP. He pretty much ran away with it this past year, but he does have his shortcomings, such as his jump shot. So there's a little bit of blame to put on him, not as much as I think the media throws on him. I think he's a big reason why Milwaukee even did as well as they did in the bubble. But he's definitely got some responsibilities that he needs to take care of if he wants to win this year.
Absolutely. That's kind of the burden that comes with being the MVP, doesn't it? You have to take ownership and the reason that your team has success or shortcomings. So, the weight of the world on his shoulders this year.
Oh, no doubt. And as far as the rest of the roster goes, I think Middleton will have to step up. He got a lot of attention after Giannis went down. But what we didn't talk about was his efficiency. He was shooting around 40% from the field in those last 3 games, I think, against Miami. Butler, of course, had a lot to do with that, shutting them down. But this year they need to come out Middleton, Giannis, and Coach Bud need to come out and be the stars, right? Coach needs to play them. Giannis and Middleton need to take leadership and ownership of what happens with the team. You don't have a scapegoat in Bledsoe anymore. Drew Holiday is just not going to be that. He's going to be reliable.
Yeah.
So I think that it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm very excited for this season to start.
That makes, well, I'm going to say three of us.
Three of us, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. As I was just saying to Row, before we came on air, this was one, not only to speak to you and actually get to meet you properly, Caleb, but this was one of the hottest takes that we had sent in, and that we were probably one of the ones we were most looking to doing. So, again, we really appreciate you coming on today and sending that one in to us. You know, taking time out of your schedule.
Oh, absolutely. It was something that I definitely wanted to do. I was going to make happen no matter what. I have a little bonus hot take, if you don't mind me sharing.
Yeah, go for it.
Please.
Okay, this one I really hope doesn't come true, just as a selfish fan. But I could see Tyler Hero not taking that step forward that a lot of people project him to.
Yeah.
No, I love Hero. I was listening to JJ Redick's podcast last night, I think, and he was the guest on it. Great guy and has loads of confidence, amazing game. But I could see him maybe not living up to what everyone expects him to be this year. I really hope he does. I think he could either be a star in this league or a bench player. I don't see him being in between that. But I hope for my sake and for basketball fans' sake that he does take that leap. I just figured, since I'm on here, why not go the extra mile?
Oh, mate, for sure. And do you know what? I could see that happening as well. The problem with Tyler Hero is that, and I guess it's a problem and a blessing at the same time, is the fact that he set the bar so high so early on.
Yeah.
So
he did.
So if he doesn't improve, then people are going to start asking questions and say, well, this bloke hasn't actually improved since he first came into the league, which we're all expecting him to progress in an upwards direction. But in saying the fact that he's, started his career so prominently, it's just one of those things that you can sort of see him plateauing. You can sort of see him same level for the next few years. Let's hope it doesn't happen. Let's hope he turns into one of the premier players in the league. But I can sort of see that happen.
I like it. That is a hot one. It is. I'm glad you got that one out, Caleb. That's I agree. I think, as I just said, that word pedestal, we all look at him so highly and regard him so highly now. Diamonds are made under pressure, but he's going to have a lot of expectations now. And for Miami's sake and for his sake, I hope it works out. But it's certainly one that could go either way.
Absolutely. And, to tie it into Giannis a little bit, there's few reports Giannis to Miami. Now, people are saying they can't do that because of the BAM extension. I haven't really looked at the money for next year with that. So I've seen a lot of trades around Tyler Hero for Giannis. If I'm Miami, I'll do everything I can to keep him, but I understand. I think that if he stays with Jimmy Butler, we will get all-star Tyler Hero because I think Jimmy was the perfect bet for him. Yeah. He is a huge reason why Tyler Hero was able to go out there and drop, 37 in the playoffs, was it? Something crazy like that. As a 20-year-old. Yeah. Crazy. And without him, I can see Hero taking a step back. But if he stays in Miami, then let's all hope that he becomes an all-star.
Yeah, 100% agree. 100% agree. Wow, some really hot takes.
My goodness, I need a cold shower to cool off. Big thank you for joining us, Caleb. We really appreciate it, man. And, again, we thank you for all of your support. And likewise, we're loving what you're doing at the minute. So just quickly before we go, guys, if you haven't already, make sure to check out Caleb under Apex Fraser at Instagram and check out Wolves. It is an absolute banger. Doing great things. And again, a big thank you for joining us, my man.
Oh, thank you for having me. Yeah, love the show. Continue to support as long as you continue to pump out the podcast.
Oh, thanks, mate.
We will, brother. Absolutely.
That's massively appreciated.
Excellent. Well, we'll let you go there. And again, a big
For
thank you.
sure, for sure. Oh, anytime, fellas.
Okay, and we are back with our fourth and final, interview for our hot take segment. We are joined by Craig. A big welcome, Craig. Thank you for joining us, man.
Hey, Nic Row, thanks for having me, guys. Awesome pleasure to be here. Looking forward to seeing how your pod goes.
Thanks, mate.
You're up in Brisbane, is that right, Craig? Enjoying a bit of sun up there?
Yeah, mate, it is stinking hot today. They reckon 34 degrees today. So, I'm going to be hitting the local pool later this afternoon. I'm on the north side of Brisbane. So it's a bit cooler down there.
Last time we had a 34-degree day.
Oh, mate, I can't even recall.
Not for a long time. So a pool's probably a beer and pool's probably the way to go.
Mate, I've got the weekend off, so my under 11 Panthers team. Shout out to the Brackenridge Panthers. My boys we got knocked out of the semis last week, so the grand finals are actually on today. So we play out of the Northside Wizards, based in Zulmia. Shout out to Brackenridge Panthers for kind of forever.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Great stuff.
That's why I'm repping a bit of Black Panther stuff at the back here for the boys. Yeah, I actually said to my boys, if we made the grand final, that I was going to wear my Black Panther mask and coach them the grand final game in the mask.
That would have been incredible.
Next year.
I was about to say, keep that in the back pocket, absolutely.
Well, so my hot take today is I reckon. Sorry, Nick, you go on.
No, I was just going to say, man, the floor is yours. This was one, when you sent it through, we're really looking forward to discussing. So,
and it probably needs a full episode's worth, but we'll try and...
Oh, easy, yeah. Look, my hot take is I did send you a message saying that I think that LeBron will can win more championships than MJ.
Yep.
And the way he's playing at the moment, 36 years old, and just signed with... re-signed again with the Lakers and AD re-signing as well.
Yeah.
And, getting the likes of Gasol joining the team and having the veteran leadership of Dudley and Markieff Morris coming back as well, and getting the Menace in as well, Dennis the Menace Schroeder. He's not Rajon Rondo, but he's got the potential to be, joining this team, and I think that they're pretty stacked, and the way the East is, I like Miami. They were close, real close, but interesting to see, the Bucks as well. What they're going to do, whether Celtics going to lift their game this season. The East is wide open, and if Harden gets traded to the Nets, which is a big if. I'm not a big fan of that trade. I just, it's just too many ball.
Too many
like Macquarie, it's almost like Russ and Harden at the moment, or was last season the Rockets. But I'm not a huge LeBron fan. I'm an old school, so I grew up in the '90s and followed MJ's Bulls teams and watched them sort of get through there. And I respect LeBron's game. It's amazing. Like his talent's unquestionable. I mean, not, what I'm saying. He'll go down, top 2 greatest ever. I love his skill set, and just the fact that he still brings it. Sort of, a lot of people say he slackens off during the season, and I was actually watching a thing last night on YouTube that Scottie Pippen was, saying that this season the championship didn't count because they weren't traveling as much and stuff like that. There's always going to be asterisks. People like.
Yeah.
I used to be one of those people who would put an asterisk against LeBron for, moving to Miami or whatever, and, joining forces with Bosch and Wade just to win a ring. But I've got to give him props. The guy he's a legend of the game. And even what he's done, not even like the stuff he does off the court is even more sort of commendable. Yeah. So, but I think I think he can easily, what's he, number 4 now?
Yeah.
I think next year they'll definitely go back to back. They lost the 2 big men, JaVale McGee and Dwight. The shot blocking of them and the athleticism. But they've got Marc Gasol. He's championship quality center. Probably not as quick or as Trez. I'll be interested to see. He's going to have a real chip on his shoulder and prove a point, especially with people questioning his defensive capabilities in the playoffs last year. So I reckon it's just the fact that he's in a new locker room now, and he's going to have an actual stronger leadership voice there with LeBron and AD, which he lacked in the Clippers locker room. Yeah.
I 100% agree, Craig, and I think the team that won the titles last year has only been elevated this season with the acquisitions that they've made. They are in great shape, and the fact that we've got AD re-signed now, LeBron's extended. Number 5 this year looks, you don't want to say carved in stone, but it looks in pretty good shape. And just what he's doing, he was runner-up in MVP, Finals MVP. There's no signs of slowing down at the minute, which is incredible. At his age, at this rate, it looks like he could be playing at 45, 50 at still at the top level. Unparalleled what he's doing.
Yeah, well, I'm still playing at 46 on Wednesday nights. For the shout out to the Hawks. We're Div 2 on a Wednesday night there.
Oh, no.
We're actually going for back-to-back.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no, we got back-to-back last season. Yeah. So we're going for the 3-peat.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
What's your game, Craig? Are you a bit of a sharpshooter, or do you?
No, mate, I would have to say I'm a bench player. I'm a role player. I'm short and sharp. I give them the quick 3-4 minute burst off the bench, and then I tag one of my other 40-plus-year-old teammates off, and then I go straight for that Ventolin.
They're what makes teams, though. Every team, not every player is going to be a LeBron, so you need the role players. Absolutely.
Yeah. So look, it's funny. Like I've been coaching my son's team now. It's the second year I've coached him, and I'm loving coaching. And it's interesting to I've never been a superstar player at all. I'm adult. I never played at high school. It was just sort of after school that my brother and I used to muck around them, and my mates as well. We were like, I think it was like 19, 20 when we first sort of joined a team, and been sort of playing on and off ever since. Yeah, just loved it. It was just a thing we used to do in the backyard or down the local school. And now that my son's into it, it's interesting sort of having that perspective. Like I'm trying to teach the kids that, not everyone's going to be the best player on the team, and just teaching them and just getting those fundamentals down as well. But I'm not even, and I'll just like to give a little just a caveat as well.
Yeah.
I'm not a Lakers fan either, so my son is, but I'm not. So, but you are, yeah. So, I respect all the Lakers teams. I enjoyed watching Shaq and Kobe as well, and I think with LeBron and AD, they could easily go down, possibly even as a better duo than Shaq and Kobe when it's all said and done.
Yeah. Depending on how many rings they win over the next few years, I can easily see that happening as well. And it's when you think about it, it's a crazy thing to say because Kobe and Shaq so long have been one of the ultimate 1-2 duos of all time, and we didn't really think there's many other players who would contend with that level of superstardom as those two. But depending on how long, I guess it's dependent on how long LeBron continues to play at an elite level. And as you said before, Craig, it sort of seems like there's no slowing down for LeBron. It seems like he's 36 years of age and he's still playing at an elite level. Who knows when he's going to drop off? And if he's playing at an elite level and you've got AD and all these other role players, those two could very well go down as on par or even overtake those two. It's really incredible, and we're pretty lucky to see them in their prime, I guess. Even though LeBron's prime was a while ago, but
he's still in his prime.
He's still in his prime. He's been there for a long while now, so it's incredible.
Yeah, agreed. Any Lakers fans out there that disagreed, feel free to add your comments below or wherever you have to do that. And it just makes you wonder, if Shaq and Kobe had sort of coincided, got along.
Yeah.
Who knows, like what they could have, 7, 8 themselves.
Yeah.
Or in total between them.
Certainly going to be exciting as a Lakers fan. The next couple of years, I'm, now that we've got those two wrapped up, I am buzzing. But before we, I've got one more question for you.
Yeah, far away, Nick.
You've spoken about, yourself playing at the minute. The Daily Dribble here, we're looking at putting in a social team pretty soon, and hopefully in the next couple of months. Now, I come from I've played soccer for 17 years, and that's kind of been my life. So making the transition, well, this team we're going to put into basketball, what's the biggest tip you could give a couple of blokes starting out?
Mate, how old are you guys?
Well, I'm 22.
And I'm 26, so.
Oh, yep. So you got youth on your side, mate. Now's the time, boys, when you're in your 20s, because once you get in your 30s, it's like, oh, yeah, you're still all right.
Yeah.
Once you get over 40, mate, you have the slightest injury. Mate, I tweaked my back just putting my trousers on to get to work the other day, and I had like this half of this week off. But mate, just keep shooting, keep practicing.
Yep.
You know, that's
Yeah.
I think back now, like watching YouTube, like you see all these amazing guys like putting drills up and stuff like that. Like I spent hours watching YouTube, like NBA sort of reviews and stuff like that. But I also looking for my team, for the players. I'm always looking for sort of like drills that they can follow as well, and just to get them better as well. But oh man, just
to do it.
Yeah. Look, I'll be honest with you, Nick. I was a soccer player as well. I never played. Yeah, so and I just got. I was playing futsal, and then I just got the foot speed and skills of some of the players was just like, it was too much for me. So I ended up becoming a futsal goalkeeper just because it was easier. Yeah. Them running, sort of nutmegging me all the time. So,
I don't envy you. That's a daunting task, being the goalie. I do not.
Yeah. Thankfully, my beer gut sort of blocked a lot of the goals.
Stage.
But yeah, guys, just as long as you're having fun, that's the main thing. Like, you know, some of the guys I'm playing with now, we've played for, I don't know how many years, but it's been quite a long time. You know, I sort of stopped for a little while and got back into it a couple of years ago with the boys. But, you know, some of us have been playing together since we were like, you know, early 20s. So, you know,
Right.
And I think the main thing is have fun. Like, you know, our team's a social team, but we've got our captain. He's 6'10". He's an Aussie rules player.
Goodness,
and yeah,
it's good.
It's the first time a lot of us have played with someone that tall, so it's been good in that respect.
Just beat him.
Yeah, so
just beat him.
Yeah. So I think the main thing is as long as you're having fun and everyone knows you're rolling. You know, like when I was younger, I used to try and jack up all the shots and think I was, you know, it was a local. Yeah, but you know, the only carry I had was bloody whatever my mum was cooking. You know, But as long as you're having fun, that's the main thing.
Brilliant.
And, you get those shots up.
Absolutely.
That's inspiring.
And also, one other thing, I'll give you one last thing, is if you can learn to dribble with, what are you guys, left-handed, right-handed?
I'm left-handed.
And I'm a righty.
Yeah. All right. So then the other thing is you got to practice dribbling with both hands.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing I didn't do it. I'm now trying to teach my team that. And they're like, oh, you're not very good with your left hand, Coach Craig. I'm like, no, I know, but that's why you guys need to get better at it. So.
Well, the thing is, if you only play with the one hand, you can only play on one side of the court. So if I'm a right-hander and I'm on the left side of the court, trying to drive to the rim, I'm going to get found out every single time. So, and it's something that you don't really get taught when you're learning the game. I guess you sort of just get told how to do the fundamentals, how to dribble it up and down. But that's a good piece of advice.
Yeah, the court today, to be honest, I feel more.
Yeah, we always play a zone defense. Sorry, what was that, Nick?
No, I feel more motivated. I wanted today. We've got to finish up the rest of our episode, but I kind of want to find the nearest court and get the ball moving, pound the pavement. Yeah,
that's it. Well, I promised my son yesterday that we'd go get some shots up this afternoon and tomorrow afternoon. But I'm just going to wait for it to cool down a bit.
Yeah. You'll cook.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I don't have to worry about the tan.
No, well, that's it. That's it. It's a bonus. We really appreciate you coming on today, Craig. So we'll let you go there, my man. And, absolutely love this take as a Lakers fan.
My pleasure.
I was stoked to hear this song. I can't wait to see what the next couple of years brings. It's certainly going to be exciting.
Yeah.
See LeBron chase down MJ.
Yeah, 100%. And good luck, guys. I look forward to hearing the podcast, and yeah, keep me posted. If you've got any other questions or you want to get me back on for another hot take, I'll let
Absolutely.
you
I
know.
would love
I'll
to.
flick you a
We've
message.
loved this, my man. We have. So
Cool.
we absolutely will.
All right, guys. Take care. Have a great
Take
weekend.
care.
Cheers, Craig.
Take
All the
care.
best, mate.
Keep on hooping.
See you, mate.
See you guys.
Bye.